If Jagmeet Singh portrays himself as a Khalsa, says he is a Khalsa, then we would like for him to talk about this incident because it makes no sense for him not to. It makes no sense for him to ignore that. He puts this presence out that he is the Khalsa. He dresses like one. He wears a kirpan. He has a turban. He says he's initiated as a Sikh and he is a Khalsa. So we would like for him to comment on this.
One more time, your name, sir.
Jaskanwal Singh,
Just kind of want to sing. And do you consider yourself to be a Canadian patriot, brother?
I do. Saturday, the 19th at night. I was there near the front of the line with the peaceful protesters, and I was holding up the Nishan Sahib flag, which represents the Sikh faith. It's a sovereign flag of our faith, and I wasn't close to any of the officers. Um, I wasn't pushing them, I wasn't attacking them. I was holding up the flag, so one of my hands was on the flag. My other hand was by my side, and while standing there, out of nowhere, one of the police officers, they lunged forward through their ranks, through their line. As you can see in the video, they just lunged forward and grabbed the Nishan Sahib flag. They grabbed it, tried to grab it out of my hands, and I was holding on to it. So while I held on to it, they pulled me forward, and I lurched forward because there was another cop that joined him. So there's two that was pulling on the flag, and then there was cops on my right side as well. As I was lurching forward, there's cops all around me, and they bumped into me or pushed me. And then as I fell behind into their ranks, I just got attacked by six cops who were taking me down to the floor. And as I got thrown to the floor, I went face first onto the concrete, onto the floor. The flag was under me. My hands were being crushed by the weight of all of their bodies on top of me. I was getting kneed in my ribs, punched in my head. That's when they took off my turban, and it was on the floor next to me. There's excessive weight being pushed down on me. I couldn't breathe, and I was telling them I couldn't breathe. But they were saying, "Oh, he's lying. Well, he can talk, so he must be able to breathe." And they were yelling for me to stop resisting, but I was in no position to do anything. I was being crushed with the weight of big men in big riot gear piling down on me and kicking me. My ankles are hurting, my legs are hurting, my head, my back, getting in and out of the car. Like it was just chaos all around me and being kicked, kneed, punched, and the weight of everyone on me piling down on me. We don't respect Jagmeet Singh's politics. I don't agree with his tactics that divide people, with the rhetoric that he's been spewing, that falls in line with lots of what Justin Trudeau has been saying. Whether that's saying these people, the protesters or people who haven't taken a vaccine or whatever the case is, saying they shouldn't be tolerated, that they're sexist, misogynistic, um, and his his ways of dividing Canadians is the opposite of what Sikhi is about, of what we as Sikhs are about. As I said, oneness is at the root of Sikhi. So is the freedom of choice, the freedom of conscience, the freedom to have bodily autonomy and dignity and integrity over your decisions, your body. And these are the types of things that he is against, these are the types of things that he does not respect. And we do not see him as representing Sikhs at all. It's more so that he used this identity to pull on the heartstrings of Sikhs to show them that he's one of us. But really, deep inside, it's what matters on the inside of a person. The outside is just an exterior. The inside, the true values come from within, and he does not represent Sikhs. If anything, we were attacked by racists or by an agenda from the cops rather than the narratives that the media, the mainstream media, and the government has been spewing that these are white nationalists and racists. So the acts of violence and racism or whatever it is actually came from the police. We had to do everything we could as Canadians and as Sikhs who are known for upholding righteousness, standing up for what's right, fighting oppression, to be there at the front line and to show that our identity as a Canadian and as a Sikh is what matters to us, and it matters for us to be able to represent and protect our rights and other people's rights. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, that's what Canada is all about, and being able to practice my faith freely and openly, and having it celebrated is a cornerstone upon which this society rests on. It's something that makes me proud to be Canadian. Makes me proud to see other people practice their religions and us being in an inclusive democratic society. So them ripping off my turban, um, and them not having any respect towards that, them grabbing the Nishan Sab flag, out of trying to grab it out of my hands and throwing me down to the floor. It's like it was a targeted attack, against my faith, my religion. I wasn't able to practice my religion. I was on the ground, on my stomach, in the concrete, with weight being pushed down upon me, and my turban was next to me on the floor. There was no attempt from any of them to handle this with any decency, any courtesy, any dignity. I was robbed of everything that makes me Canadian. It wasn't there. And as someone who prides themselves on being free, being a patriotic Canadian, upholding the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, not just for myself, but for other people, caring about these rights for children, it just it was it was definitely not something I ever expected to happen. Like the first few weeks, yeah, we were there on the weekends. We were preparing and serving food out there in the cold temperature, -30, preparing food, keeping everyone nice, safe, and warm, and well fed. And those times were beautiful. It brought Canadians together. Many people came from the West Coast, the East Coast. They had very limited exposure, perhaps, to some Sikhs, and they got along perfectly well with us. They learned more about us. We celebrated together. There was no sense that this wasn't a united Canada. It was perfect. It was everything as a kid I thought Canada um should be like.